Hey guys, it's Kneon. We're going to talk a little bit about some changes coming to Toonami and maybe do a little speculation as to what all of this means. Want to give a quick shout out to Chaotic Keyblade, who sent me a tweet last night talking about the change in Toonami. They're cutting back. They're cutting back to 3 hours from the 5.5 to 6 hours that they currently are or were. And there are some delays. I guess My Hero Academia is going to have a little bit of a delay in this schedule shift. We're going to talk about that. Talk about what could be going on, the bigger picture here with Toonami being on Cartoon Network, which has seen some cutbacks lately, and there's a lot of crazy things going on with Warner Media. Now, I don't think it's necessarily doom and gloom, but they clearly are kind of out there trying to do some damage control to make sure that people don't speculate that the end is near for Toonami or anything like that. So before we get into the video, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. We're over 92,000 subs, hoping for 100,000 soon. Thank you so much for that, guys. All right, so the first thing is My Hero Academia. It's been delayed. It's been delayed a week in February, and people had questions about it. And I think that sort of opened up a conversation with Jason DeMarco from Toonami as to what's going on in general with Toonami. They're going to be cutting back. So this is coming from comicbook.com. Toonami entered the new year swinging with some top tier shows. The late night anime block continues to expand. Well, actually, it's going to contract, and fans are eager to see what Toonami is going to bring in 2020. My Hero Academia is going to take a break for a week. Toonami updated its fans about a brief schedule change it'll undergo this month. On February 22nd, fans will not be able to watch My Hero Academia as expected. The show has been removed from the schedule that week, but it will return the following. So it is not on February 22nd, but it returns on February 29th. So people reached out to Jason DeMarco at Toonami and asked, like, what is going on? What's going on with My Hero Academia taking a break on the 22nd? They say it has something to do with Funimation's delivery schedule, probably, maybe, possibly. But this actually opened up a larger conversation, or maybe they were concurrent. Whatever the deal is, Toonami is shrinking its lineup. They're going to shrink its lineup. They're only going to have a 3-hour block. So again, this is coming from Jason DeMarco. People were like, who the heck are you? He is the co-creator of Toonami, so the guy would know what he's talking about. So he started tweeting about what's going on at Toonami. Attention Toonami fans, a note about the lineup shrinkage and effort to keep rumors and speculation under control. Here's a little context. A couple months back, our programming department came to us and asked how we felt about shaving off some time on the broadcast. Essentially, at 5.5 to 6 hours, Toonami was getting too expensive and unwieldy to handle. Too many shows rotating in and out, which are costing more and more these days. This is important. We're going to talk about this. Too many shows rotating in and out, and they're costing more and more. And frankly, as I've said before, our preferred length for the block is 3 hours. So we're going to go back to the 3-hour Toonami for a while and see how that works. The block will still expand periodically as opportunities for new shows pop up, Toonami originals come in, etc. In short, don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We have 6 shows in production for Toonami. So people are kind of curious what the heck is going on with Toonami. They are paring back on the schedule. And look, it could come down to finances. Things aren't too good over at Cartoon Network right now. Christina Miller stepped down as the president. I think she basically got pushed out. Again, just a theory. I don't know the details. But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on at Warner Media right now in regards to all of their animation companies. I think a lot of this is leading up to what could be the consolidation of all of these networks, all of these streaming services underneath the HBO Max umbrella, including Crunchyroll. So they're cutting corners. Warner Media is brutally cutting corners. Cartoon Network is in a state of flux right now. Again, I don't even think they have a president. I don't think anyone has taken over for Christina Miller. We don't know what's going on. So, you know, they are cutting back. And as we understand it from animation industry insiders, I'm going to trademark that, copyright it, whatever. We have people who are familiar with this situation at Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers, and they said that there is massive freaking out going on everywhere at Cartoon Network. There are, cuts being made, shows being canceled. Christina Miller's gone. There's no captain on the ship. Nobody seems to know what the hell is going on. And it comes back to Warner Media. Warner Media, which got sold to AT&T, is chopping everything. They're cutting back on everything. And I think it's going to continue because they had a bad quarter. And I think the cutbacks are going to continue. We saw how brutal the cutbacks were in the animation division at Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth laid off like 13% of their workforce. There were more cutbacks. There was a massive restructure. And everything we've heard seems to indicate that Rooster Teeth is going to wind up fitting into Cartoon Network at some point in time. And Toonami, I do think they're going to be around for a while, but I also think that there is some definite overlap with Toonami and Crunchyroll. So, these executives are going to look at this and be like, do we really need Crunchyroll and Toonami? Or can't we just have one anime brand? Or do we need a separate brand for anime? Can't we just throw all the anime onto HBO Max and call it a day? And Cartoon Network has been in decline for years. And again, part of it's some of the programming choices, I think, but part of it too is that kids are watching shows on streaming services. They're watching cartoons on Netflix now. They're watching less and less content live. So the ratings are probably, declining all across the board for Cartoon Network. And again, everything seems to point to HBO Max being everything for Warner Media. Now, how Toonami fits into that, I have no idea. But they are brutally cutting back. They just shuttered one service last month. I can't remember the name of it, but they've shut down several smaller streaming services. They're reducing redundancies, and they're just cutting back in general. So cutting back from 6 hours to 3 hours makes financial sense, doesn't it? It's fewer shows they have to pay for. We see what's going on at Rooster Teeth right now, and it's a mess. It's actually, as I understand it, it's worse over there than they're letting on. At Rooster Teeth, we're seeing a lot of big names exit suddenly. We're seeing a lot of big names exit at Cartoon Network, and I do not think that the end is near for Toonami right now. But I do think that, Warner is absolutely going to take a look at them and take a look at Crunchyroll and take a look at all of this animation and be like, can we cut back? Can we cut back on more stuff? And I think right now they're like, let's cut back to 3 hours and see if this is financially viable. Again, I don't think it's going to go away. But who knows? I mean, at this point, all bets are off because Warner Media is cutting divisions and cutting things back in such a way that most people probably wouldn't have seen it coming. But, my suggestion again for anybody working at any division of Warner Brothers right now, keep your resume updated. This isn't I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but as I understand it, it's really, really bad right now. They're cutting back. There are no sacred cows. There's been talks of possibly even DC Comics getting sold off. I don't know how realistic that is, but if they're that serious about cutting back on expenses, I don't think anything is off the table. So there may come a day where there's no more Toonami, there's no more Cartoon Network because it doesn't make sense. It could totally happen. I don't think it's going to happen right away, but if everything goes to HBO Max, why do you need separate networks running cartoons when all of your cartoon content is available for streaming? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But Toonami cutting back to 3 hours. So, I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later. Thinking about printing your own comic books, graphic novel, or manga? We recommend our friends over at PrintNinja. We've been using PrintNinja as long as they've been printing comics, and both the quality and price is excellent. Mention CLOWNFISH TV and get an additional 5% overrun of your book order quantity printed for free. That's free books, people. Just mention this offer on the phone or in the additional information box on the quote request form. That's printninja.com or click on the link in the description below. Hey guys, thanks for watching CLOWNFISH TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.